Welcome back. My name's Jessica from Jessica's Craft Time, and welcome to this week's Whip and Chat. We're working on a Diamond Art Club. I'm very, very close to finishing this. Why does that feel like there's something under there? Because it does. Very close. I've just got the top of the monkey's head to finish, and I'm done on this one. I've really enjoyed working. So today we're just going to chat about what's been happening this week, and I'm just going to show you as well how my cross stitch has been going. I've been working on this one here, which came in a kit, and I purchased it from Spotlight, and we're coming along quite nicely. So I've done up the side of the cat here in this color, which is color, I don't remember, one something, don't remember. So I'm just going to start working down on the pussycat's foot and then up to the head. So enjoying doing that. I was a little bit annoyed. I wasn't paying attention while I was away, and I did a row, and then when I came home to do the next row, I'm like, hang on, nothing's meeting up, and I had to take out a whole 2 rows of stitching here. So anyway, we're getting there. With my Diamond Art Club, you watched me kit up in my containers in my case here. So we're just working with them today, and I think we're going to start on the number 1. I do like to put masking tape on the top of my lid. That way I find the stickers are easier to pull off. These ones will actually come straight off the masking tape. So yeah, I just find it easier to get. Some people find the stickers stick onto their containers and they can't get them off. Then you've got to go and get a glue remover. I just put a bit of masking tape. The masking tape will always come off it. But yeah, I find that works. If I can pull the sticker off the masking tape, I will, and just leave the masking tape on my container. So my tray is from, now I've got to remember. My pen's from out of a mystery diamond painting that I got on Etsy. The diamond painting itself I don't feel was worth it, but I do quite enjoy using the pen. And this has got a 5 place. I'm not used to 5. I'm only used to a 4. And the tray is from, I'm trying to remember. It's a company that does, I'll link it below. I'll try and remember to link it below. So I quite like this tray. It's a little bit bigger than your green boats. That's your green boat there. So it works out good when you're doing bigger sections. So how has everyone been this week? What's everyone been up to? I do apologise. You can probably hear the kids outside. The neighbours have visitors over, and there's not much I can do about it. The window's shut, so I can't really block them out any further. Yeah, so what's everyone been up to? What have you been working on? I'd love to see pictures of what you've been working on. It doesn't have to be diamond painting or cross stitching. If you worked on some baking over the weekend, or some home renovations, or whatever, I'll pop the link to my Facebook group below, and I'd love to see some photos of what you've been working on. This week, another chaotic week. We're back up at camp, so weekend number 4. Yeah, weekend number 4 out of 5. We are home this weekend. But we were back up there this weekend because it is our usual annual barbecue. Now, our barbecue is one of the biggest fundraisers we have a year. We have two sort of days that we do food at camp, and people pay. and we do raffles, and there are big fundraisers. But due to COVID, this is not the case that it can be run, because our barbecues in October normally run between about 100 and 120 or 30 people. We can cater for that many people. It is a bit of a squish in the dining room, but no one really cares. They all just, eat and be merry. So obviously doing that many people in one room, it is not COVID safe. So therefore our barbecue could not run this year, which, like many organisations, we are struggling a little bit for fundraising because it's been a very tough year. But things must go on. So we went up on Friday night just because it's about a 2-hour drive from home. And I find if we try to get up and go on a Saturday morning, by the time we get up and organise and out the house, we don't get up there till lunchtime, and you've wasted half a day. Sorry, I'm not used to a 5-place. It's too long. I'm not used to it. There's only one extra placer, but I've got to get my head around it. Yeah, so I much prefer to go up on a Friday night. Once hubby gets home from work, Mark headed down to the in-laws again for the weekend, which he always loves doing. I don't have to ask him twice. So he was picked up Friday afternoon. And then hubby had been away for 3 days last week. So he had the company car, so I went and picked him up and finished loading up the car, and we had it up Friday night, which was good. We actually had a pretty good run up there. We normally just stop for takeaway somewhere along the road. Unfortunately, it's normally Macca's, because by the time we get up towards the hills, most of the other food places are shut, which sucks. But the problem is, if we go too far and hope that the next town over has food open and they don't, we get up there and we haven't had dinner. And I don't normally cater to bring food for that night. So I'd spent Friday. We did, however, still have a barbecue, but we had a barbecue just for the leaders, a very small group, and it was more of a barbecue to say thank you. What was nerve-wracking was also it was the first function that I have helped cater for. Well, when I say help cater for, I catered. The lady who normally does the main catering, she sorted the meat for me, but all the salads and dessert I catered. So Friday I ran to the shops in the morning and got all the food that I needed for the weekend. Excuse me, because we were up there Friday. The barbecue was not until Sunday. I needed to grab food for us to eat for the time that we were there as well. And we met a few other people up there. There was 5 of us the first night, then 6 of us the second night. So, we need to eat. So we just got up there Friday night. We unpacked. Friday I ended up doing some cooking, because the oven up there, it's a little bit temperamental, and it has its quirks. And I figured, look, it's just easier to do it at home where I know my oven. So I did a little bit of baking on Friday. While Mark was at preschool, we made some brownies and some lemon cake. So I knew I had desserts sorted. Got up there Friday night, and we cracked open the drinks. One of the mates that we're up there with makes home brew, so we cracked into the home brew. And I'd taken nibblies, so we just nibbled and sat around and drank and talked, and it was really nice to catch up. I did not do that well. So that was Friday night. We got up Saturday and we had rubbish weather all weekend. We were in the fog. were in the rain, it would clear for a little bit and then it would fog up again. So I wanted to get some agapanthus dug out, but unfortunately the boys were all busy with the tools doing their job, so I stood around and supervised. We had to dig a trench to add the power to the church, which I'm very quickly learning up there that no project is easy. So in between the rain, the boys were out digging this trench, and one of the boys, every time he put the pickaxe or the shovel in, he found another damn rock. These weren't little rocks. You'd hit it, the pick would hit it, and you're like, uh-oh, that one sounded bad. That sounded like a big one. So every couple of minutes, they were having to stop and try and dig round rocks, dig the rocks out, and then start again. So this was a full day job. At the same time, I realized that the bug insect zapper in the kitchen, I tried turning it on and it wouldn't turn on. Well, it did turn on, the globes wouldn't turn on. So when it got to around lunchtime and it started raining, we're like, okay, let's head into town. We need to go to the hardware store and get some more conduit. We got up and tested the starters on the bug zapper and they were still working. So we're like, okay, it's the globes. So we went to the hardware store and we purchased a globe, knowing that it wasn't quite the right globe because it was just a fluoro globe. And in the insect zappers, they have like a black light which attracts the insects for them to get zapped. And we need it because we're serving food and preparing food and there's a lot of insects up there. So we need to have one running. And we got the globe, we got the conduit. Then we went and grabbed something for lunch. Got some more alcohol because we drank more than we thought the night beforehand. All the meantime, we're getting drenched. There's 4 guys and me trying to fit in the car while we're all sopping wet. But we got back. And of course, the globe didn't fit. It was too long. So we've made the decision we're going to replace the whole unit because the actual globes are quite expensive and the unit's quite old. When I took the tray out that catches all the bugs, it was disintegrating. So anyway, we had a break, had lunch, the rain stopped again, and the boys started on the trench again, and it just kept going and going. And every time they found more rocks and more rocks and more rocks and more rocks and more rocks. And then it started to really rain. And it was time to give up because everyone was just getting wet. You couldn't keep digging in the rain. So in the meantime, 2 of the girls had shown up. So I grabbed them and we started prepping dinner and for the next day. So that was kind of good fun, showing them what I was doing. One of the girls was very excited because I showed her how to make a recipe for a cake, a chocolate ripple cake, which is quite a simple cake to do, and she was excited. I let her make it all on her own, and then she decorated it the next day. But then I had a freak out because we were told to set up X amount of tables. And I'm going, that's too many people. We can't have that many people. The reason they wanted more tables set up so that people could spread out, which is fine, I understand. And I'm like, okay, but how many people are we expecting? Because I didn't really have much to do with actually getting how many people. I was told 25. I'm like, okay. But could be 30. I'm like, So we'd cooked all the components of my potato salad and I start putting it together. By this time we've had dinner. The potatoes have cooled down, so I start putting it together. It's 8 o'clock up in the hills. and it's a Saturday night. I'm like, I think what I did is I confused myself because I grabbed one of the biggest bowls to mix it in. And I'm putting it together. I'm like, this isn't enough. This isn't enough for 30 people. This is not enough. So total freak out. Hubby to the rescue. He drove 20 minutes to the next town over that has a supermarket open later to get me more potatoes. Because I had sort of enough of everything else that would pad out into it. But I needed more potatoes. And in the end, he didn't need to have done that, because in the end, it was a really, really wet and rubbish day, and we only had 13 people. So we only had half the people that I was catering for, which means we had over half the salad left. I had way too much potato salad. I'm still eating it. That's okay. That's okay. I should finish it off for lunch today, and we will have finished the potato salad. But everything went off really well. They were all happy. And what I was nervous about was the salads and stuff that I make are very different to what is normally served at these things. But I don't know how to make those ones. So anyway, everyone was very happy. They were very full. Everyone thanked me very much for lunch, and it went off really well. So the boys managed to, in the morning, in the rain again, they managed to get the conduit to go through the hole we dug, and managed to get the trench somewhat covered over. It's still, because we took out so many rocks, we're going to have to find some more soil to put over the top, but that's okay. We will do that next time we're up there. But the trench is covered up. No one can fall in it and break an ankle or a leg or anything. They were very wet and muddy by the time they finished that, but that's okay. Then we fed them food and gave them lots of desserts. So all in all, it was a great day. It was, by the time we got home, I was very exhausted. But it was a lovely weekend. I love going up there. I love, even when it's crappy weather, I just like being out at the property and relaxing up there, especially if there's a couple of people around to keep us company. So yeah, we're back up there in another 2 weeks. Hubby and I run a working bee again, always run one in November, so we'll be back up there again, but Mark will be with us this time, so I'll have to get him out there digging in the garden, digging up some weeds. But yeah, there's so much work to be done because no one's sort of been going up there during the year with restrictions. So it's okay, it'll get done. I'm hoping there'll be a few people show up and we can get some of the jobs done inside the house as well. So it's basically been my weekend. And then Monday, Mark got dropped off Monday morning because it's easier for my father-in-law because he works up this way. So he just dropped him off before work on Monday morning rather than doing a trip, because I'm like, there's no way we're going to be too exhausted to drive to their house Sunday night. Because by the time everyone left, and then you've got to clean up and clean all the bathrooms and vacuum all the floors, and yeah, we don't want to leave it messy for whoever. We should be the next ones up there, but in case someone else goes up in between us, you don't want to leave a mess. So I'm like, can you drop him off either Sunday night or Monday? Because we really are not going to feel like driving. We're not going to get to your place till 9-10 o'clock at night. And it's too late. And then we've got another 45 minutes drive home. So that's all right. He came home Monday, and I don't know what they did with him over the weekend, but they must have had him going all weekend long. Because we got home, what did I do Monday morning? I started to do some washing, and then we had to go up to Bunnings. I'm attempting some paper mache. Hubby does Warhammer. So I want to try and make him some scenery for his Warhammer for his birthday. So we had to go to Bunnings to get a few bits and pieces to do some paper mache. I needed some glue. And what else did I get? some chicken wire. Just stuff I didn't have around. So we went and did that. And he just kept complaining, Mummy, my legs are sore. Mummy, my legs are sore. I'm like, we've been here half an hour. But I think the whole thing was he wanted the trolley. He wanted to get on that trolley. I'm like, no. You were too big for this trolley. You were not getting in the trolley. But Mummy, my legs are so sore. I'm like, your legs can't be that sore. We haven't been here long. You walk around the zoo for hours. We've been here like half an hour. And I'm sure he was only complaining because he just wanted to sit in the trolley. Like, no, mate, you are too big for the trolley now. You're past the weight limit on the, the child chair. And he wanted to sit under the trolley on the bouncy bit at Bunnings. I'm like, no, you'll get your fingers jammed. It's not designed for children. No. Then we had to just run into the supermarket and the whole trolley thing started. Mummy, we need a trolley at the supermarket. I'm like, no, you are not having a trolley. We are going in for one thing and coming back out again. So we did that, came home, had lunch, and it was just really whingy all day. Like, what is going on? And then I had to go and drop something off at a girlfriend's house and pick something out from her. We did a bit of a swapsy. And she's like 10 minutes away, not even. Halfway there, 5 minutes down the road, he's out cold in the back seat, sound asleep, dribbling, the whole works. Like, that's why you've been, cranky, because he doesn't normally sleep during the day. But his grandmother does still put him down for a sleep during the day, which kind of throws him out a little bit. But they must have just had him full on all weekend because he fell asleep. And this was like 2:30-ish. 2:30. So I called hubby because hubby hadn't seen him since Friday when he went to work. So I called hubby on the way home. I'm like, are you back at the office? I'll swing past. You can see him. He was out. He was sound asleep. Didn't get to see Papa. Papa saw him. He didn't get to see Papa. Get him home. I'm like, all right, I'll just take him in, put him on the couch. He can have like half an hour more sleep, and then I'll wake him up and we'll go and do something. Nope. He would not wake up. I tried and tried and tried. And then, so I went and did a few things around the house. Did some washing and tidying up and stuff. About 5 o'clock, I went and got him. He was still asleep. Out cold asleep. Like, I don't want to wake up asleep. I'm like, it's going to be a late night tonight. 5 o'clock, I'm finally like, right, I'm just going to lay down on the couch with him. Let's see if I can put on a show and try and wake him up. So I moved him again. We had cuddles on the couch. And he stayed asleep until nearly 5:30. That's a huge nap he had. But no matter what I did, I just couldn't wake him up. Like, I'd get him to be sort of awake and responding to me, but as soon as I stopped talking or anything, he'd be straight back asleep. So he must have had a huge weekend. And then, of course, yes, it was a very late night. I think it was about 10 o'clock before he finally went to sleep. That's okay, because we only have swimming on Tuesday. And that's not until 10 o'clock. So plenty of time to get him up in the morning. So he must have been exhausted. But I called my mother-in-law this morning because I found a hat in his bag. I'm like, does this belong to one of the kids at preschool? It's been put in the wrong spot. Or does it belong to him down there? Because she buys him, I don't know what. I send a whole bag of clothes down for him to wear. And I'm lucky if he wears any of them. I'm like, why do I bother? Why do I bother? Anyway, and she's like, no, that's his hat from down here. I'm like, okay. She goes, I couldn't find one in his bag. I'm like, nah, he left it in my car. But I wasn't overly stressed. It rained all weekend. So she's like, but what was funny, because I also found a whole heap of syringes in the front of his bag. And I'm glad I looked and he didn't take them to preschool. When he goes into his grandmother's work, who works in a lab, they do all like science projects and stuff. I don't know. He loves going to Bubba's work. So anyway, they'd been there on the weekend, and he loves getting the syringes, like the 10 mil up syringes without the needle, just the syringe part. And he loves playing with them in the bath. So he'd brought some home and left them in his backpack. But as I'm speaking to my mother-in-law, she's like, yeah. She goes, oh, don't forget the syringes in the front of his bag. He wanted to play with them in the bath. And she brings new ones home every so often, because after you play with them in the bath for a bit, they start to seize up, because they're not really designed to be played with like that. Anyway, she goes, yeah, it was really funny. We had been up to my work, and then we went to, they have a jumping castle indoor play centre he goes to up there. And she goes, I went to get my purse out at the counter, and she goes, it's a pretty rough area where this jumping castle is. She goes, I pulled my purse out the counter and all these syringes fell out of my bag. They're all the ones he wanted to take home with him. I'm like, oh, well, might have to just be careful with them next time. Apparently she got lots of funny looks, because her bag was full of plastic syringes. So he's got his syringes to play in the bath with. He's got a new hat. He's got new toys. He came home with all these new toys. I don't know where we're going to put everything. Every time he goes down there, he comes home with more toys. And that's not including the toys he leaves down there. But anyway, can't really do much about it. If his grandparents want to spoil him like that, I can't stop it anymore. And then I was just chatting to my sister this morning, trying to get Christmas sorted. I can't believe it's almost November, almost 2 months out. Christmas is going to be on top of us before we know it, which is scary. So I'm really hoping, it looks like in a couple of weeks, that the border between country and metro Victoria is going to open, and my mother can go and visit my siblings. And then fingers crossed, by Christmas, the border between New South Wales and Victoria will be open, and I'll be able to go and visit my family for Christmas. And I'm sure there's many other people that want to go either to Sydney or to Melbourne to visit loved ones. It's been a very long couple of months, and all my friends keep announcing that they're pregnant and babies are coming along. I've lost track. I was trying to think of it this morning, and I've lost track how many babies are due in the next 6 months. I just lost, I know 5 off the top of my head, but I'm pretty sure there's, no, 6. I'm pretty sure there's a few more, so I think I need to start my sewing machine up and get my baby blankets happening, because I like to, especially if it's their first baby, give them a little baby blanket, quilted patchwork baby blanket for Bubs. So I've got a couple to make. There's one who's quite a good friend who she'll get a full pack. She'll get receiving blankets and quilts and nappy free time mats. So I have a fair bit of sewing that I need to get done. I'm just not sure when I'm going to fit it in. I swear it would be good if days were longer. I can't do any sewing at night, unfortunately, because the sewing machine is right next to my son's room, next to Mark's room, and it's very loud and it keeps him awake, so I have to find time during the day to do it. But I think that will be about it for today. So I got a little bit more done. I might bring you out and you can see what I'm working on. So that's him there. So we've just got this little section up here to be done, and then I'll be on to my next one. Now I'm not sure what my next one is, because the collab that DP Adventures and Crafts with Crashly we're going to start on the 1st of November has been pushed back, and I'm not sure till when, which is a shame, because I would have finished this perfect timing to start that. So I might have to just do a couple of small ones in between until that starts. Oh, excuse me. So anyway, I hope you've had a lovely week. Please let me know below what you're working on, and I will see you. Also, look at the sparkle. I'll see you all next week for our Whip and Chat. Have a lovely week. Bye.